I'm ready to upgrade to a bigger one next year. This is Big Dink Energy, the pickleball podcast that's half insight, half nonsense, and all entertainment. If you love pickleball, don't take yourself too seriously and think a little trash talk makes the game better, welcome home. This is the place where life and pickleball intersect. We celebrate the chaos, call out the nonsense, and put the fun back in dysfunction. You're either in or you're out. And if you're still listening, you're in. So let's go. Big Dink Energy starts now. You are my fire.
You're not mine.
This is the official podcast of Pickleball. Don't clean your ears out. It's meant to be dirty.
Okay.
Did you know that we are professional and we are sponsored? Hey, quick shout out to our friends over at Pour Sport. They make athletic apparel designed for people who actually care about how they look on and off the court, in bed or out of bed. Bold designs, quality materials, and every piece is created by real artists from around the world. Sport, like pickleball, should be fun, expressive, and a little rebellious. And Pour Sport, they get it. Go check them out at poursport.shop. That's poursport.shop. Follow them, tag them, show them some love. Tell them Big Dink Energy sent you. You tell them. And if you use Big Dink Energy 10, you're going to get 10% off. Go do it now. So listen, we're doing this before Easter, and it brought up just a thought of holidays in general. Just not just Easter, but all holidays. And just all the things about holidays. We're going to pretend we're not going to eat this, or, just peel these 27 potatoes real quick, please. Yeah, all those things for holidays. Where are we in our over 40s? I'm barely over 40. Lives as far as holidays go now. Like, I remember, like, Christmas, the big ones used to be really exciting for me, but not so much anymore.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not a mushroom. I mean, a fungi.
Oh, gosh.
I saw this meme the other day, and it said, now these effers want Easter baskets. What else? And I was thinking, no kidding. Like, it's just always something. It was just Valentine's Day, and you had to do Valentine's. And before that, it was Christmas, and you'd have Christmas presents. And sometimes it just feels like we're just living and then holiday, and then living and then holiday.
Before you know it, it's President's Day, and we got to put up our President's Day stuff, and I got to dress up like one of our forefathers.
Yeah. You should.
Yeah. Different than dressing up like foreskin.
Oh, my gosh. Too far. Way too far.
So, I used to do really good Easter baskets for our kids.
Yeah, you did.
They were handmade. They were exactly what they were into that year. I was father of the year for like
you
6,
made really
7,
good
8 years.
Easter baskets.
Yeah.
But now that the kids are older, it's just a little different.
Little secret, though. I made the Easter baskets to make the other parents feel bad.
But I think that's where we set ourselves up for a lifetime of hard work.
I agree.
When they're little, we go overboard and beyond, and we're doing all of this fun stuff, and look at this is cute, and this is cute, and we're doing all of that. And now, 15, 20 years later, I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to create this extravagant scavenger hunt for you to go find all these clues just to get your Easter basket. Here's your Easter basket.
Right. Do you think we just get tired?
Yes.
Or do you think it's because the kids are older and they don't really necessarily need that?
I think it is. I think you cross over a line at some point, like with our son 16 and our daughter almost 13. I think there's just a point where I love seeing their excitement, right? Easter, Christmas, all of it. I love their excitement, their wonder. But even at this point in their life, their excitement and wonder is a little less too. Now, is that because of us?
I
don't know. Have we put the bushel over their light? I don't know. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I mean, I love holidays. I love getting together with my family.
Yep.
I love spending time with my family, and I love hanging out with the kids and all of that. But it's a little different now because they're older, and I get so tired, just faster. Like we used to be able to hang out till midnight, and now it's like 9 o'clock. Let's wrap this up.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's changing a little bit with our new peptides too. I
have a lot more energy.
Yeah.
But as far as hosting or being a guest, Do you prefer to host or do you prefer to be a guest?
Oh, I want to host because I'm getting in my bed.
See, that's what I like. If you host at your house and once everybody leaves, you just go to bed. You don't have to drive 30 minutes home.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because when you host, then you still have to clean up everything and you still have to get everything put away and you have to get everything ready before everybody comes. So you're spending time doing that. You're spending time. I mean, it sucks either way.
It sucks either way.
I'm just at the point to where I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Well, and so we still have one young one in our family cohort, our family
she's
group.
8.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, watching her go hunt for eggs is awesome.
I mean, in all honesty, all of our kids, even the 20-year-olds, still hunt for eggs because we created this torch that they earn if they win, and it's made out of. Yeah. I think it's an old wrapping paper
made
thing,
out of real torch.
And they sign it, and they've had it for years, and they pass it along, and they still are like, oh no, like we're taking it home. And my kids have yet to win it ever because they're so damn slow.
Heavy.
And my sister's kids are so athletic.
Yeah. Our kids are heavy.
I mean, literally,
This is their year.
The signing of the names are pretty much just the one athletic kid that can run fast.
Yeah. We're going to have to hobble him some way this year, tie his feet together or something like that.
I saw a TikTok the other day where they had like older kids who were doing the Easter egg hunt. So they put them all in like inflatable dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
And that's how they had to get their eggs. And so like they're reaching down to get them and like falling over and balling into each other.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, I thought that
I
would
also
be
think
hilarious.
like when you do the adult like mini liquor and all of that kind of stuff and money, you know, we definitely do money.
We do money.
Yeah, we do money eggs too, but mainly like the past 4 years, I've done scavenger hunts. So each kid gets a different color egg. Like your color is blue, pink, whatever it is. And in the egg is a clue, and they have to read it and figure it out and go find their other egg. And there's always 10 clues that leads them back to their big Easter basket.
No, too much.
So that's
a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of work.
She's
Straight
always,
young
Paddle
Sherlock.
Paddle Princess always a lot.
Always doing the most.
So it was cute the first couple years.
Let me just.
No,
I
I'm
forgot
exhausted.
to say. Last year we had the kids fill the eggs with candy, and then we went and hit them. They filled their own eggs.
Yeah.
Well, it's assembly line.
Because I was like, we ain't doing all this.
No, that's too much work.
I mean, there are a lot of positives though, right? For holidays, like the leftovers. That's one of my
I
that's
do
one of
love
my
leftovers.
big things is the leftovers. The stories get shared and changed every year.
Every year they get more.
Yeah, a little bit more added to them. And obviously it's a huge excuse to day drink. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we
there
don't
are
drink that
benefits
much, though.
to it. Oh no, I'm an alcoholic for sure.
Shut up.
Yeah, I would have to say I absolutely love holidays, and I'm so grateful that my family's close and we get to, see them at every holiday. Well, pretty much every day, but it's always been that reason to gather. And even though the kids are getting older and the traditions are changing, the family togetherness is still there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what matters, whether there's presents or eggs or food. Well, I mean, always food, but that's the
always,
string.
Yeah, the thing for me is always looking forward to your dad's picture taking.
Yes, always with the
gathering
pictures.
of the family. He is like Peter Parker
I love that.
times 10.
Always with the photos.
Yeah, it's
Well, I mean,
awesome.
Thank God, because we've never taken family photos.
No.
Well, when it comes to Easter, I am 40 years old and my mother still gets me an Easter basket. Now, obviously, it has changed. It's no longer like plastic eggs, but I get a huge like tote bag or like a travel bag. And
That's why you're extra, because she's extra.
Yeah.
Y'all, in our family at 18, you don't get crap anymore.
No.
I'll get like
You get to fill your eggs and run after them.
Right.
No, I get like a cute pair of shoes, always a bottle of wine, always a bottle of liquor. There's always like face masks, skincare, an outfit,
This is the
a
shit
candle.
Oh my gosh.
this is the shit that's funny. Like, her family, her mom is buying her, a 40-year-old, an Easter basket. Our family is like, you're 12, fill your own eggs and go run after them.
Go get the candy. Go inside, buy the candy, bring it out to the car.
I know. I probably will have my son go to Walmart and buy the candy too.
Yep.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
bad.
No,
we're
not
terrible
at all.
parents.
Let us know. Get up in
This
the
digress.
BDEpodcast.com. BDEpodcast.com. Let us know about your holidays. Let us know about your Easter. Let us know if your kids are stacking their own eggs with candy. just let us know. Send us some pictures too. We like pictures. Pictures are always great for the audio. Well, I got a card. This says especially guy at the bottom, and it is from my friend Sean Paul. It does. It says especially guy at the bottom.
I'm sure.
This is from my friend Sean Paul. We are knee brothers now. He had a total knee replacement just like me. He was a little bit ahead of me, so I was watching his progress and hating every minute of it. But listen, he says, Guy, I'm trapped in this house going crazy. Writing a letter and sending cards keeps me busy. Thank you for that. Hope you don't mind all the cards. I love it. Thank you all for being so amazing to me, especially Guy. Thanks, Sean Paul.
Say that.
Thanks. It does. We'll put it up at the BDpodcast.com. Go check it.
I had a fangirl moment this week.
Yeah, you did.
It was so exciting.
Selkirk shared my post and commented. And I handled it like a professional, which means I screenshotted it and then sent it to everybody.
Yeah. So, act like you've been there before.
What else are you going to do? That was so awesome.
I felt super cool, but...
You should.
And
that
absolutely.
Was great. You do the bulk of... Right now, you're doing the bulk of all of our social media posting.
And I'm just letting you know that boomstick, oof.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
I want to try it.
Try it, girl.
Not to be confused with the boomstick from Ash of The Walking Dead. Shop smart. Shop S-smart.
Just the tip. Quick pickleball wisdom, in and out before you know it. All right, this one is sneaky, and it's killing your soft game. Most rec players are gripping the paddle way too tight, like a 9 out of 10. And it makes everything loud. Your dinks pop up, your resets sail, and your hands, they feel slow. Here's the fix. You need to have a 4 out of 10 on that grip pressure. You hear?
I do, for my soft game.
Just the tip. It's time for Pickle Pals.
Listen, today's guest went from standing in a hockey net in Canada, of all places, boo Canada, now, to documenting pickleball's takeover of America. You listen to us because you know that's true. Alexander Jeffery is the filmmaker behind the Power of Pickleball, a documentary now streaming free that features some of the sport's biggest players and the Hall of Famers who built this sport. He spent 2 years capturing how a 1965 backyard game became a cultural movement. So, from Shreveport, Louisiana, Alexander Jeffery, thanks so much for being on the Big Dink Energy Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, this is big time for me. Okay, I don't get the Martin Scorsese of pickleball much. So, is that a fair assumption, or you want to be compared to somebody else?
No, you know what? I love that, and I think I'm going to go change my Instagram bio after this.
Yes, all right, awesome. I'll be the first one to like it.
Perfect.
So it's streaming free right now on Documentary Plus. 9.1 IMDb rating. All the good things, right? But for people who haven't seen it yet, give me your elevator pitch, your 30-second. Why watch it?
Yeah, I mean, this film really is about the grassroots movement that grew pickleball, the people, the volunteerism, the sort of community aspect of the film. You know, one thing I tell everybody is like, we're not out to paint anybody in a bad light. This is really a celebration of the sport of pickleball and why people love it so much. And I really think that we captured the heart of pickleball, and that doesn't have anything to do with us. That has to do with the amazing people that we interviewed and the stories that we got to tell in the making of this film. So it is free on Doc Plus, but I also want to point out too that it is available for rent and purchase on Amazon and Apple now.
Yeah.
As of March 16th. Yep.
Yeah, please go do that. Please support filmmakers like Alexander here that are doing things like this for our community. We are, I believe, and I've said this a lot, we are at just the tip of the iceberg of pickleball. And something like this, especially for rec players that we reach out to, this is how you figure out how you connect to pickleball, I think. It's kind of a legacy movie, right? This is something that I think if you're in the pickleball space, it's important to know where we came from.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you said it perfectly. Like, most pickleball players don't have a lot to do with like the pro game and the tours and the tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So like, I think we really made a movie for the 99% of pickleball players that are really interested in the love of the game and where it came from, and the many, many people and ambassadors that, again, like grew the sport to you know, that sort of tipping point of COVID where it really became part of everybody's like the part of the zeitgeist and everybody's like consciousness. Like, it took so much work to get it to that point. And that's kind of a big part of what the film focuses on.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And we hear that story quite a bit. COVID was going on, and then this came into my life. COVID made pickleball happen for me. So many stories like that out there. So thanks. Shout out to you, COVID. Don't need you coming back around, but shout out to you for sure. Sponsor us if you want to.
Yeah, please don't come back.
Yeah. So 2023, I've got to ask, and now I'm an East Coast guy, New England guy, so it's going to sound weird. Did you give your aunt? The aunt is your mom's sister, typically, not a bug on the ground. Did you give your aunt credit for all of this somewhere along the way?
Oh, of course.
Because you were right. So the story is you guys were at breakfast or something, family vacation, and she suggested this whole documentary?
Yeah, I had just made another doc, and it had just come out, that previous October. And we were all on vacation, sitting around by the pickleball courts, eating breakfast. And she was like, well, what if we made a pickleball documentary? And I was like,
what if we did?
I don't know about that. What if we did? And then I emailed her like 2 or 3 months later and was like, how serious were you about that? Do you actually want to do this? And she said yes, and here we are.
So she's a player.
Yeah.
And are you a player?
Yeah, she plays like very seriously. Like she's actually going to play in the US Open this year for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Which is great. Super excited for her. I play super casually.
Yeah, me too.
And I enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah, that's what attracted me to it. It was kind of like kind of the beer league of tennis. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but that's kind of how I looked at it. Like, oh, this is something I can call myself an athlete if I do this.
Yeah, for me, it's like I just hate running.
Yes,
and like just like if I feel like I'm exercising, I hate it. And so for me, it's like a great way to have fun and accidentally get some exercise.
Yes, yeah, it'd trip into that exercise that way. Yeah. Hey, listen, if you're over 40 and your body is starting to file complaints, we get it. We live it. From pickleball to peptides and everything in between. Between the four of us, we've spent years figuring out what actually works. And we put it all in one place for you at bdepodcast.com/over40. That's bdepodcast.com/over40. Now, back to the show. Like it.
Yeah, totally.
So you spent 2 years roughly making the film, traveling all over the United States. What was in that, for people who don't know, your world? What was kind of the biggest challenge or challenges? And because pickleball's changing pretty fast during that time too, right?
Oh my God, keeping up with it was impossible. Like that was, the film, when we first started making this thing, we didn't really know what we were making. And, I come from the scripted narrative world where you know what the story is that you're telling from the get-go.
Right.
And so doc is like challenging and surprising in all those different ways. But I think one of the biggest challenges with this is, like you said, if you're trying to hit a moving target, it's impossible. So we sort of, as we honed in on what the story was and is, we realized that we needed to focus on the parts of the story that feel evergreen, which is the history, which is the volunteerism, which is the life-changing stories, the people who, had their life completely overhauled because pickleball became part of their life.
Right.
And that feels like it's always going to be true. But yeah, like some of the, the battle of the MLP and the PPA, like that came and went so quickly. And there was another doc that covered that, but like we sort of felt like, I don't know that the people are going to care about this in 5 years. So we tried to really kind of zoom out and feel like what are people still going to care about in the next 5 to 10 years about pickleball.
I like that.
And focus on that. Yeah.
Kind of future-proofing it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's impossible to do, but we did our best to. And like we talk about, is it going to become an Olympic sport? And we talk about the shift from, in the monetization of the sport, where, more players are coming in and all that kind of stuff. But that's almost like a point in time in history. That's part of the history more so than it is like the relevance of keeping up with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Now, I've never done anything like this. The best I've ever done is I had 2 kids and produced those and put them out into the world. But you produced this and had 600 people show up to the premiere. You're showing your baby essentially to 600 people. What is that like?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, so that was the screening in Surprise, Arizona that Happy Trails set up, and we filmed some of the doc at Happy Trails. And walking into that screening, somebody asked me, like, have you ever had this many people show up to one of your movies before? And I was like, no, this doesn't happen. Like most film festivals, like you're getting like, 20, 30, 40 people to show up to your screenings, which is fantastic. And to have 600 people in a venue and to have to stand up and face them and like talk about the movie beforehand. I was like, I'm a theater major. I don't usually get stage fright, but man, I was like, this is probably the most people I've ever talked in front of. Yeah.
That is awesome. Was there red carpet and all the fanfare and fireworks and all that?
So no, we did a screening on the Fox lot, which was the premiere, and that was a little bit more fanfare. This was like a community event. But that's great. That's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and doing it that way, I think it makes the people feel also more connected to the film that way as well. It's more accessible.
Yeah. Totally.
So, I mean, you interviewed a ton of Hall of Famers too with this.
Yep.
So not just the Ben Johns of the world that are currently playing and all that, but the Hall of Fame. Well, the Hall of Famers are still playing. What was kind of like that you learned from them that you couldn't maybe learn from the big pros right now?
I think the thing that I took away, like the Fran Myers and Steve Perantos and Jennifer Lucors, is like just the evolution of the sport and what it was like, and when they first started playing and doing the tournaments versus, what we're seeing walking around nationals in Dallas, like with all the booths set up and the fanfare and the prize money and all that kind of stuff. And to really learn about, how these tournaments were started, because Fran Meyer was there when Sid Williams was doing like the early pickleball tournaments,
right.
And they were giving out jars of Nally's pickles as the prizes.
Right,
and,
right.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to hear Jennifer Lucor talk about like how her dad has won more pickleball tournaments than anybody, and all he has is medals, and he never made $1 from it. And then, she made some money from winning tournaments, but it was like in hundreds of dollars, not in the, tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it was kind of really interesting to me to learn about the growth of the sport and how it really was kind of slow and steady wins the race for pickleball, like how they just kept the momentum going over the course of decades, and just how that grew into, that tipping point of everybody adopting it.
Yeah, I mean, the backstory alone is great. Just kind of like Calvin Ball. That's why I think pickleball is Calvin Ball, right? Where we just kind of inventing the rules and grabbing the equipment as we go along into what it is today. That's another big draw for me is, maybe things are going to evolve even more past this, because you see other guys like coming out with Tipti, with a softer ball, a little bit faster play. Mm-hmm. So many offshoots from this too are just so interesting to me. Now, your previous documentary was autism in Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
So you really have a theme, heartfelt and human relationship. Is that also carried through in this doc?
Yeah, I think so. I think the human part of this story was what really interested me. The people whose lives were changed, and the people who, their hearts are wrapped up in pickleball. Like it's meaningful to them in a really impactful way. Those are the kind of stories that I like to tell, even in my narrative work. The stuff that focuses on the human condition and trying to put a little bit of good into the world where I can. Yeah.
It does come across in everything you do, all your social media and everything. You can really see that there's feeling behind it, right? And that's the big thing that people don't maybe realize about brands is, the greatest brands in the world, they don't sell you a product, they sell you a feeling. And I really, I really get that come across from your stuff too. Now,
thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're going across the country, you're traveling 4 or 5 people, right?
Yeah.
And I got to imagine there's a ton of stuff that didn't make it into the film, made it onto the floor, was cut out.
Tons.
Is there anything in those cuts that you wish, like, oh, gosh, I wish I really could have put this in?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, some of it was dancing around, again, the relevance side of things and like, the stories that came and went. But there was some really cool stories that we filmed that we just had a hard time purposing into the narrative flow. And that was one of the things that my editor and I went back and forth on so much is like, how do we make this feel like a good narrative flow, telling the history, but then stopping along the way and telling some of these personal stories. There was a guy that we talked to in Naples. His first name's Michael, and he had some kind of medical condition that put him into a chair. And so he started playing pickleball as a standing player.
That's right.
And then ended up playing in the wheelchair, and then by some miracle was able to walk again, and then came back to it as a standing player. And it just gave him a totally different perspective having had that time playing in the chair. And so that was one of the stories that didn't make the final film, but I just thought it was a really powerful and interesting story. And, maybe that's a piece of content that we could repurpose into a short or something like that. But we talked to so many people and we just couldn't include everything. And there was people that we didn't talk to that we probably should have talked to that, it was a game of like, who can we get in touch with? And also like, how many people do we really need talking about a certain aspect of the sport? And, there was when we did the screening in Surprise, I had lots of people coming up to me like, "Oh, you should have interviewed this person. They were monumental in getting pickleball work to where it is today." And I 100% believe that is true. And, like I tell everybody, we made an imperfect film. There was no way to make a perfect film because it would have been 7 hours long and we'd be still shooting, I think, to this day. So, yeah.
Yeah. And well, with so much of that left over, I mean, I got to see there's a path forward for another one with maybe a different slant or a different take on things too. I'm sure you're probably already formulating that in your mind.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to like check in a couple years and see where things are at, because I think part of what the doc is sort of a cautionary tale of like, we don't want to become tennis, because tennis feels, I played tennis in high school. I love tennis, still do, but it feels like a country club sport. It feels like you need to be wealthy in order to play tennis.
Yeah.
And the roots of pickleball are the opposite of that. And so I think the film also serves as like a cautionary tale of let's not become tennis. Pickleball is different and is purposefully different. And I'd be interested to check back in and see. I think one of the profound things about pickleball is the way that the culture of pickleball has stayed true and has stayed infused in the sport, like as it has spread. Like that's hard to do, to maintain that culture. And they've done an amazing job of doing that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. Okay, so I got to ask, this is on Amazon, it's on Apple. And so then I also know, if I know those two things, that it's going to be on American Airlines and other flights eventually, right? So what do you hope that someone who's never heard of pickleball takes away from watching this?
I hope that, especially people that maybe have misconceptions about pickleball, because I was the same way. I thought it was a little silly when I first heard about it. I hope that people watch it and go, wow, that actually is really interesting. That seems like a cool sport. It seems like there's really cool people involved in this. And I'm going to go out on the court and get a paddle in my hand and try it. So I think when people do try it, they become addicted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's just a good time. And people who play don't take themselves too seriously. And it's a great way to get off your couch and get off TikTok scrolling and doom scrolling about everything going on in the world and just connect with people. And I think there's so few opportunities to do that in our culture today. And I think pickleball is a great solution for that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We call that out all the time. The mental health aspect of it alone is being able to, I believe thoroughly, I'm in law enforcement, so I'm a little jaded on this. I believe thoroughly we were never meant to be as connected as people as we are. So now, we have all the virtual connections of the world with our cell phone and internet and all that. We're never really meant to have that much connection. And so we lost the ability to get out and commune with one another, actually face to face, and have discussion and have, just fun and laughter and impacting those centers of our brain that light up all the joy centers, right? And pickleball does that really, really well.
Yeah, totally. It's like social media, and we could do a whole separate podcast on that, but it's not real connection.
No.
It's this fake connection to a bunch of people, and some of them aren't even real people. They're bots or whatever. And I think that pickleball has given a lot of people community back in a really interesting way.
Yeah. Okay, so where are people going to go? Where are we going to direct them to see the documentary, number one, and then learn more about you and get involved?
Yeah, so people can follow me on Instagram. I'm just at Alexander Jeffery, my full name. Jeffery on Instagram. The Power of Pickleball Film is on Instagram as well. And people can watch the doc on Amazon, on Apple for rental or purchase. And then it's available for free on Documentary Plus with ads.
Okay.
And Doc Plus is available on, you can go to documentaryplus.com to watch it. You can download the app on your Apple TV if you have one of those, or Roku. Otherwise, Apple, Amazon, rent and buy it.
Listen, if you're a rec player and you listen to us, I'm going to tell you right now, go rent it, go buy it, spend the money, because that's how things like this continue to get made. And our sport continues to grow this way. Free is great if that's what you have to do. But if you're playing pickleball, you have a little disposable income. So go pay and support filmmakers like Alexander Jeffery. Now, Alexander, I'll tell you, quite frankly, I was always taught not to trust people with two first names, but you've changed that today. Thank you so much for being on the Big Dink Energy Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's time for Pick Six.
Thank you, Mr. Announcer Man. Pick Six is where we take one question each, bring two answers to the table, and immediately regret agreeing to this segment. Today's Pick Six is things you can say about a cruise, but not about your spouse. Things you can say about a cruise, but not about your spouse.
At some point, I just stopped enjoying it.
Oh, are we going?
That was way too rough.
The first day was great, but by day 3, I wanted to get off.
There were just too many people involved.
I'm excited for disembarkment.
You drink the water in Mexico, you'll have that. I'm ready to upgrade to a bigger one next year. Tell us what you think. BDEpodcast.com, BDEpodcast.com. Let us know things you can say about a cruise, but not about your partner or spouse.
News you can use.
I've just been handed this copy.
All right. Well, I have a little bit of pickleball drama, and this one's got more to it than just paddles. So, yes, proton paddles were banned from pro play by the PPA over compliance issues. But that's not the whole story.
Tell us the whole story.
Reports are also saying Proton hasn't resolved outstanding debts and is now in bad standing with basically everybody that matters. The UPA, PPA Tour, Major League Pickleball, all of it.
ABC, the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, ABC, BBD. So this isn't just
That's
about
the East Coast family, isn't it?
It is. It is. So this isn't just about how the paddle performs. This is business and money and relationships going sideways at the top of the sport. So now, before everyone at Open Play starts spiraling, this still does not affect any type of rec games. So nobody is checking your paddle. Nobody cares what you're using at the damn park. You're not getting banned from your Tuesday night league. But people are going to start questioning their gear, which is like they're going to wonder what's legal, thinking someone else has an advantage. And the truth is,
who cares?
At our level,
yeah.
No.
I'm glad I got the right shoes on. You know, both they match.
Right.
My
So-
socks match, my shoes match.
So while all this is going on and the Proton's banned and blah, 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 it does not matter for us. But I do think it will trickle down and people are going to be like, they have a Proton. That's why they're winning because it's banned. And it's like, that has nothing to do with why it's banned.
Yeah.
But if your paddle is the reason you're winning anyway, you're probably not.
Yeah. Now, if your
Right. Agreed.
if your Proton came with steroids, maybe, you know. He's got a Proton and testosterone.
The thing is 99% of players, it's not the paddle.
No, it's you.
It's
you suck.
Right.
It's
You
you.
suck.
You either suck or you're good. So, but I just think like at the rec play, nobody cares. Bring your Proton, use it. A lot of people at our league use a Proton. So that's why it's getting banned. But it's been like the whole scuttlebutt in the pickleball industry.
scuttlebutt.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, my
Scuttlebutt.
jeez.
But I just thought that
yeah.
was funny because you know there's going to be those rec players that are going to be like, she can't play with that.
You already
She
had.
can't
We already
play
had
with
that one guy at the
you already
court
had, like,
with
with
a
my
pretty
yeah.
pickleball company paddle.
Yeah.
He's, you can't play with that.
You can't play with that. I'm
Where,
like,
That's not
Frank?
approved for the tournament.
Where can I play with it?
Like,
I can't play with it up
sir,
your
we
ass.
already did.
I'm like,
Okay.
I played with this paddle 30 times in a tournament. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you have no idea.
Like, just.
How are you going to
so
play
much
with it
fun.
up your ass, Frank?
I'll show you where you can put it,
Yeah.
Eddie. Wait,
And
what
there's-
is it?
Bend over. I'll show you, Eddie.
Yeah. There's always going to be someone who has something smart to say and thinks that they're better than everyone. And it's like, oh, that's so unfair. Well,
Play better.
I just think it's funny how they're like, you ain't paying your bills? You out.
you done.
Yeah.
You done.
You done. Bye.
There you go.
If you got a Proton and you play good, let us know. If you got a Proton and play bad, let us know. If you play bad and don't care, let us know. If you're Frank and you got a paddle up your butt, send us a picture. That's it for this episode. Unless you've got something to say, think we got it wrong, have a better take, we want to hear it. Find us at bdepodcast.com or at bdepodcast on the socials. Drop us a message. We might just feature you in the next episode. If you had a good time, well, samesies. If not, maybe try again. We grow on people. So you know the deal. Follow the show, tell a friend, and leave us a review. Or just pretend this never happened. Until next time, keep the dink soft and the energy big. Loved it. Didn't you?
That was so unnecessary.